It may already be. It has started it? Yeah. And we're videotaping. All right. Woo-hoo. Okay, well, great. I mean, what we'll do is zoom in on that from a tiny little image and wait 5 years for AI to catch up so it can be re-resed up. And all right, so the teeth are going down into this cradle. And I want you to say, imagine I'm cutting this way, chop, 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 chop. This is the beginning, this is the end of the block, right? I'm laying it out now. It's going to eventually end up over there. I want you to know that I want the smile to go back and forth and rock. And as the smile is rocking, then I want his eyes to also grow and shrink and grow and shrink. So that's about what I'm about to make. You know where it's headed. Now, in the calculation here, to cut it like straight is probably correct. But since I want it to swing, I'm making different choices all of a sudden. You see now the angle of the cut is really fast, just by that little thing. Every action has a different motion result every time. So you always have to be thinking, I want this objective, uh-oh, I've distorted this other objective. Or is that the right one I want? So here, the teeth are going to be very fat, and they're going to be moving on really quickly, because it's such a shallow cut. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm not sure how I'm going to solve that yet. I'm going to go right to getting my basic blocking, which I want his mouth to swing from one side to another and back again. So there's actually a lot to do here to mangle. This is just sheer mangling. You're taking a kind of semi-fillet fish skeleton and trying to give it a basic back and forth flow shape. All right, and what this is doing, if this were to be animated, that it stalls out right here. Do you see that? Like in here? Yeah. It's stalling out because the time flow is now linear to the angle of the cut. It's not, here it's wicked fast and here it's wicked fast. Right? Got it? The reason, I mean, what I can do is try to like shape it so it's kicking up that direction, and here I can shape it. So I'm just going in and trying to make it more like what I wanted, even though I've got distortion everywhere, and it's going to not be perfect. Again, that's why you choose subject matter, that it can allow you to be imperfect. So watch what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually both get it up to this side as a character and get the time flow a little less radical, so the teeth aren't as wide. There. And I have the concavities working there. We have all of our, where's our, yeah, I'm ready for the crowdsourcing. You want to bring it right here? Okay. Great. I have one last little thing, and that is this is going to be the lips. There ain't going to be much. I've already pre-made these on a stripe. I've already pushed them out. I just want to have the thinnest effect at the bottom of the mouth, that's some kind of animation that is the highlight. You know, lips have grooves in them, right? Or cartoon lips, at least like chapped lips. If you were to cartoon chapped lips, you can see the highlight. And this is all gloss. This isn't highlight. I mean, this is all highlight, no shadow, or very little. And then I'm going to extrude it like by hand. I'm just trying to get the suggestion that he has an upper lip and a lower lip. So it's not that I'm putting a lot of material in here. Anyway, that's the attempt. I guess it'll make him kind of like have pursed lips if I actually follow through on this, like I'm thinking. I don't want it in this. This doesn't belong here. I'm going to be putting it below it now. I'm just trying to shape it. I have one more. Good. Okay. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to take this off. Again, oh, where did my you know, they migrated off the page. These supports, these precursors, these things that hold it up. So then I'm going to put this down. thinking it goes like that, and then this goes down. Doesn't this look like a mess? It is. And hopefully you'll see whether or not it's forgiving, or whether the mess caught up to it. All right. Now I want the tongue.
You'll move it closer to you.
Yeah, so people can see. Where did I put the tongue material? Probably sitting right here. Yeah. Oh, no, that's that. Yeah, that's it. I want the tongue to be on opposite sides each time. So I'm going to have it go opposite of the time flow of the top of the mouth. And I want to cut got to cut through this magenta that's used as the negative base, which allows it to support this smile that I'm just trying to get a smile to begin here. Okay, so that's the tongue. And my hope is that I can stick it in there and it will wag. After I get it in, I can wag. And we'll see how that goes. Like that, yeah. We're at time. What are we at, people? Is this 90 minutes already, or is this, where am I at? 5:18? Yeah. Okay, just an hour then, since we all started getting going. I will keep ripping through this unless there's a general call for a break until I need a break. And currently, I just want to. If I have something on my head, it's better to just get it done before I go out. So that is the tongue embedded. I'm going to lay down some more tissue paper black. Yeah, thank you. There we go. This is super literal. You know, it's a cartoon. The black helps the sort of crazy, it brings coherence to the craziness of everything else. It's it's like Indian, Oaxacan pottery and designs that are childish can have, Halloween. It's Halloween inspired for me. Okay, crazy colors. The tongue is wagging the opposite way. And remember, I have a top mouth. Haven't put it in yet. Where are you? Top mouth. Okay. It has this tiniest bit of sort of black thin goo. And I have to sort of mirror the thing I just made at the bottom and try to carve it in there like that. And it's going, in theory, the opposite direction. So it's actually too slow now. Jesus, how will I compensate? And then it speeds up horribly in the middle, and it goes too slow at the end. So you see the opposite effect of the way the teeth are laid in as far as the result of how the time flow goes. And in the middle here, it's the opposite of the other one, and therefore this is the part that's active, and underneath it's static. And here, this is the top part's static, and the bottom is active. And that's simply because I flopped them. One diagonal going one way, the other going the other, and I'm putting this crazy curve on it, trying to make a Cheshire out of it. I'm going to leave it there. I want to get to the eyes. Okay, eyes are really interesting. People who've seen this before know I like to put a highlight in the eyes. Where did I put this for now? Do I want these? Yes, for later. Oh, no, I do want those for the eyes. Okay. Yeah, that's what these are. All right. And there were some pupil. Don't worry. I'll yell if I need it. It's basically I need pigs in a blanket black. Yeah, I've already made pupils and I've lost them. Here's some. All right. This is a pupil. It is big, it shrinks, it's big, it shrinks. I've already put one of these inside of this. What I'm trying to do is create two eyes that are contrapuntal. One is growing, one is shrinking. So I'm trying to build two Cheshire Cat eyes, shrink, grow. And when I take these sandwiches, I'm using them like with tails that thin them out. And I use the thin part of the tail at the center of the iris. And as I go out, I'm trying to make it as fat as possible. And then I want to go as thin as possible. And I just do that by pinching. I'm going to make it fatter just by laying this one over that same area. What I'm making is a radius spinning. When this is laid down like that on a circle, it's a radius line spinning as it goes down, right? It's like center, it's all radiating out from the center. So here I go. So I'm going to make that fat. You can see that's an eye with the iris sort of right now, right? The center of it has a highlight. That's all going to be spinning crazy like. It goes big, it goes small. Here I am building the second one. So the cat has two eyes that are contrapuntal. One grows, one shrinks. That's, by the way, that on the screen there is an atom that's spinning. And again, I mentioned it already, but it's sitting up there if you actually want to look at that. That's me making that thing that's sitting on the conveyor belt right now. Okay, I got the spin going. And I want you to see that one eye is getting bigger and the other eye is getting smaller like that. When you put them together in time space, you really want one to be opposite the other. And it's not as, where did I put it? The Cheshire, the basic. Oh yeah, thank you. Bring it back. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I got to use that. It's going to be beautiful. I imagine that the eye would be, this is like too fast. Like I have it growing and shrinking too fast for the solution.
Bring it closer to you so we can see it.
Yes, too fast. Too fast for the solution of writing. I have a left, right in the smile, going like this, back, forth, right? And the eyes, if I want them to actually fit the morphology of the face properly, I would want it to be like big here, small here, and big. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink these even more. Part of why I'm going to get away with it is I'm going to add a lot of stuff around it. So I think it'll still sort of.
How many
Yeah.
seconds of animation is this?
I think 8 frames, 8 frames an inch. So once it's a certain length, do the math, 8 frames an inch roughly will be the outcome. I'm going to do one more pigs in a blanket. Watch carefully, it goes fast. So I'd like to do the outer highlight. I'm just adding more. Oh, here it is. So this is like a, see these colors I've added? This is the highlight, this is the black. I've got a little dot going there, and I'm just going to roll it up. And so the black comes all the way around, and in theory, you want it to wrap, so the highlight is actually completely encased, enclosed inside that. All right. So now I have more material, and I can still make more iris. And so you have a better chance of understanding what this, the black, the pupil is doing. Let's see. I want it to go like this and like this. And then I want this to be small. And right there, and then I want these are pre-created shreds of this texture. Oh, see? Pupil, spinning pupil. And I was going to use existing here. Still got some of that material, and I'm trying to wrap it around so it does that kind of like radius thing. And okay. Quickly, I'm just making a bunch of material by compressing the same 3 things. And even if it's not right, it is a crazy cat, and that's what's going to, as long as it has something just needs to be in the center for what's coming. There's a second effect I'm about to do that I'm hoping makes it weirdly cool. All right. So the goal here was to have it fat where it's not, and then thin. That's fat. That's, well, it's going to be coming in and out. So wacky, wacky cat. All right, so next I want you to look at these. My idea is that these are the yellow outside of the cat's iris. So you're watching me draw. I'm going to compress, okay, so that radius thing you just saw is like this. It spindles out. I'm going to actually flatten it, and it's going to compress like this, spindle out in a really oblong way. And then I'm going to add to that oblong two like edges of yellow with white dots flowing up around the yellow. Because I'm trying to make a weird cat. So it's cat eyes. I'm going to cat eye these, but I need these extra. So these shapes are just yellow with this tiny bit of pigs in a blanket, black and white, like that, right? And that's going to make a bubble, if you will, like an animating bubble on these. So let me go back to, so I'm going to make a rounded eye in net effect. It's going to be a rounded eye. So here I am making these into like footballs. They're becoming almonds. They're becoming non-cylindrical. I'm actually compressing them. I want them to go up and down like a cat eye. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Why? Because I can get the compression on the other side to extrude it so it pinches, and therefore it's kind of super elongated. Same thing with this. And they're not exactly in the right spot, but this is the cradle in which they rest. And I'm going to flip this. And I already know that the sequence isn't ideally in contrapuntal, but it will be fun. It will be slippery and not completely on cue. Again, it's not that that's a problem, it's just I'm noting it as a deviation from my original goal and saying, oh yeah, and that'll happen. Okay, now that we've made that interior iris, I'm going to take these effects and pull them in. These effects are animated white blobs going up inside a yellow, like the whites of our eyes, these are yellow in the cat. Okay, and these are just bubbles flowing like blah, 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 on the side of it. And that's ultimately how I want to finish the entire eyeball. Now I have to make choices, like again, I could do it this way or that way, and they may have different, oh, they flow the same way. Here. So there you go. And that is sort of going to be the cat eye, distorting what's in the middle and shrinking down. So I'm just going to build that as quickly as I can using these sort of ready-mades I have. Same idea. Notice I have to throw some yellow. I made these pigs in a blanket, white with black on the outside. I'm throwing some yellow in to support it, right? Because otherwise it would all mash in a bad way when it's tucked up in groove with the next clay part that I'm trying to lay in. So these are just chopped yellow slices, and I am throwing them in to keep the shape correct. Let's do it here. Let's do it here. And let's decide how we get small. I don't think I can use, it's a good thing. I'm not going to use all of the material because I've made too large of that. And this one goes here. I'm going to get some yellow and make two more. Bear with me. So that's a, I'm making a hump really quickly. I'm making a second hump really quickly. It isn't a knife. It's fine. And the goal of this is now I can run this little pigs in a blanket across it because I've got a shape. See, the shape is the basics of the side of the eye. Do I have any more of this? Yes, I'm going to just use this. Why? Because it's a ready-made eye from a while ago. Who's going to notice? There's a lot of clay that you'll see in Stratacut where I run out of colors that I thought I had, and I had to throw in something different. And sometimes that's beautifully intentional, and sometimes it's just, this is a clay hog, right? And you dream, and the bigger it gets, the more you're just saying, all right, I'm running out of color. How can I transition to the next palette? Or start to put in magentas where blue used to be, or put in oranges where yellow used to be, or any of that stuff. All right, I'm adding the bubbles that go on the side of the cat eye. And then I'm adding yellow. And I'm open for a question while I finish this little piece.
Are you going to slice this thing you're making now?
I'm hoping.
Okay, great.
If you can hang with me, I know that I can push time. My ambition always outstrips my yes, but I'm hoping to put it over there. And Stephen Chiodo has kindly set up the lighting and the surface nicely. And I am looking for a volunteer to slice too. I don't know if anybody's out there. Is
Annabelle's.
you're here?
Yeah.
Awesome. There is. I don't need a volunteer. I've got the best chef in the house. Thank you so much. So yes, as soon as this is done, I have also a proposal, and I don't know if that's interesting to anybody, but you could start slicing this now if you wanted to do a test run. It's plosive. Yeah, I don't know if that's interesting to people while I'm continuing to work, or whether that is distracting. I can certainly wait.
Are we gonna have it projected anywhere?
Yeah, I think it's over there on the TV. Edgar or Jonah had set up the TV that comes out of the Dragon frame. And so, Jonah's there.
It's smaller, so maybe it's a good place to
Yeah, it's smaller. It's a good practice run. And then you can be watching why that shape of plosiveness right there, that semi-rounded hump shape is so effective for animation. All right, I'm going to continue here, finishing these yellow cat eyes that have bubbles in them. I need one more black and white. Here we go. These are the bubbles. And I need to make yellow that goes into these grooves. And again, the yellow is sort of like negative space supporting the actual content. And you always need to think about how every piece of information you're programming into a block is going to be supported by the next piece of information sitting right next to it, and what sort of pressure you're going to put on it when you work with it, and once it's cut. There's a lot of thinking about engineering and architecture that really starts to happen when you get into complicated things. So I'm doing this one. I'm doing this one. I just need a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna take the fast and easy way out. Anyway, you can see how the bubbles are gonna be bubbling up along the eyes in the yellow. You get that? I'm cutting this for time, so I'm just gonna. What I want to point out something I'm doing here. I'm making this fast and dirty cheat, but guess what I'm doing? I'm slowing down the animation when I do it. I'm using it. It'll sit in there, but these are going to be the slowest bubbles. Still going to animate, but having lengthened it out, irregardless of its original laying out, I just have to accept the consequence that my animation slowed down, but I have to. And I made twice as much animation by doing this in order to successfully get my cat eyes done. And now I have to decide, well, so I really kind of want them to do, what do I want them to do? I want them to do, this is big and this is small. And this is small and this is big. So I see what I did. Like that. Really, I only need them to be like that. I only need 4 of them. And that cradles properly to the pre-programming. And then I can use these as pinch extras. Like this will flow in and out of the cat. Like this will come out of textures. It's not going to all be jumping into action right off the bat. So having pieces that dovetail into other pieces, I leave them hanging, knowing I'm going to glue them together in a different way in a moment. Let me do it this way, because, yeah, like that. Because I'm trying to get opposites here. You can see that I'm ping-ponging, correct? I got the snake, the rat and the snake is in the opposite places on the 2 eyes, and they're trying to flow with a smile that goes back and forth. All right, this is a nose. It's just a triangle. It has a laid shape, and then I'm trying to make like that nose. You see those sort of like rectangular, triangular wrap shape. And the 2 pieces It doesn't animate much. There is some flow in that, but not in the other part. If I wanted, all right. Again, I'm building from the center out. So, yeah, that's weird. I don't know if I like that. Let's see what this size has. Interesting. All right, well, I don't mind that, actually. So what I'm going to do with this is just make one more fold. So watch, I'm going to weave it. I'm pinching the bottom. Watch, I'm cupping it. You see the cup going on right there? I'm actually just pushing it down, saying, all right, go convex, go convex. And then after I do that, I'm pulling it up. This is just another form of extrusion. So one side is getting taller, and then I'm going to do it on the other side. And then I'm going to fold them over again, and they become more complicated as swirly shapes. Just making use. It's a way to, when you say, how does it get dense? There's many ways. You take sandwiches and you keep making them denser. This is another way to make them dense, where you take a simpler set of triangle shapes, but then you say, okay, that's pretty simple, but you go in and actually say, all right, now I'm going to make it twice as complicated like curlicues, and not try to carve that as a bunch of primary slices. You just try to weave it or sculpt it, and so it behaves now in a different way with twice the amount of animation. I'm folding it over, I'm pulling it up, and then I'm going to make that triangle again. Hopefully they're contrapuntal to each other. Like, again, I think of the cat's nose as that kind of, yeah, let's see. It'll be good for a crazy cat. It'll be animating. It's going to be down here in the middle. And then I remember at the very beginning I made these ears and snout. I don't have a lot of them, so I'm going to... are you following in general? Is this okay, cool. All right. Thank you very much. Let me do this. So I'm going to make this twice as much. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use both of these as the snout. So that makes the cat bigger and fatter, I guess. And I'm going to deal with the ears differently. So I've just decided to take what I assigned to a different character feature, and I'm going to make snout first, get it out of the way. And I'll deal with the ears later, because they come last. I may not have a problem by the time I get there. And then I am ready. So that's the snout and the, that's the part where the whiskers are going to go. We're getting there, right? And they're animating. I put that animation in. Then we get any kind of these lines, which are the lips, which I need to throw these down in here, so I'm going to remind myself to finish that. I need to make, the whiskers. We're at the moment, the whiskers. And I want to make sure I'm using the right material. I don't know that I have it. The whiskers. This is teeth, more teeth if I need it. The whiskers. Oh, thank you. This is, everybody, how many of you actually helped this morning make these sandwiches, by the way? Raise your hand, because I've had a lot of help here, right?
Rolling.
4, 5, 7, 6. So this is all you. You crowdsourced and made these things. I said, okay, make some sandwiches. So I'm going to put these in as the whiskers. They may be a little gross. Not gross, but I mean unfine. They're fat. They're fat. They're not. But I need it to be as long as this because I have a snout. And all right, this goes here. I'm going to go ahead now, cut this again down the middle, and then I'm going to pinch it. And that's going to make the left and right whisker. And maybe not great, but you'll get the point. Hopefully you can see that. So now I've doubled the amount of animation. I can make it symmetrical on both sides. You can see it lining up. So here I am just pinching it. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And I wanted to tongue and groove into the the snout that I made. I need a little more of this, so watch me. I'm just going to keep extruding, trying to press it down and sneak it out against the table so it gets enough length to fit the goal. All right. All right, so back to where we were with the nose and the snout. By the way, when I cut something like this top part, it's kind of, the nose looks terrible. But, it starts to come alive. This is still pretty rude. I think it'll show much better on the third or fourth cut. You'll actually understand, oh, it's a triangle. But this is called a proof. That's what I always call it. Like every time I take the butt end of one thing, I say, all right, what do you really look like? It's the first slice. And it's enough to tell you what's going on, but don't fear. If you've programmed it right, the second or third slice should be correct. Sometimes the proof looks like it's a little wobbly, and that's because it's at the butt end and you didn't spend a lot of time. So I want to carve into the whiskers. All right, here I go, standing. Getting over the art. Going to cut into the whiskers. I'm trying to make a place where they live inside the architecture of the animal without it being obtrusive or like make logical sense. Okay, that's where you live. I like my favorite tool, by the way. I wanted to show this. It's like a burnishing tool. It has a very nice little tip, very smooth when you roll it over clay. So I've taken the knife cut I made, and I'm just trying to enhance it with this sort of nice burnishing tool tip with metal. This is, again, I'm really weaving or carving in now, not just laying layers in. I'm trying to create an opening that allows the whiskers to come out. Okay, come on. Whiskers. I should pinch it deeper. Even though this is, once you press it in, this is going to get shallower and flatter because the two clays push against each other. Like I'm putting that pressure on it, and that's blunting that wedge. So it's good to overemphasize the wedge and then push it in, and it blunts it back. And now I'm going to reverse this operation, put it on the other side, and same thing, cut it. I'm glad I'm videotaping finally. Maybe some of this will be useful to hear and see from a better angle than that far away. And I don't think the TV set it's good, it's great actually, but I mean, I'd never had the luxury of that kind of a view on a demo where you can, the top end is really, that's really helpful, right? You can see most everything, okay, good. So I'm using the burnishing tool and going into the snout. I still need to make a bigger wedge. It's just not deep enough, right? I'm really just, the reason it has to be deeper is it always gets more blunt. If you don't dig it in and pinch everything to hell, it just gets blob on blob, and there's no definition. And we can do better than that. So over pinch, over create, and the Stratacut will soften it. Don't be afraid to do more than it seems like it would be reasonable to do. And then, oh, okay. It helps the coherence that you're trying to get out of this chaos. There's so much chaos going on in here. There's so much programmed energy being forced into this little shape. So right now that's not the best, but that will be whiskers, snout, and nose. It's probably too short, but roughly these should be lines that are whisker lines, and I don't know that's not clear yet, but I'm hoping that comes to be clear. Maybe I need to do it this way. I think that makes more sense. Yep. There's no shame in reevaluating. That looks right.
David,
Yeah.
be careful because your cat is starting to get pretty close to the edge of it.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to sit down again. And you'll trust that most of that is more coherent once the gestalt and the animation takes place. Back to, I've finished these guys. I know where they're going to place. I've finished these guys. I know where they're going to place. I've already done the tongue, but I haven't done the upper lip. And maybe this is a terrible thing. I would actually really try to extrude this a lot more than I'm doing and smear it out. All I want is the faintest line shiny
You want me to put it through the?
cat lip. Nah. I think for the sake of demo, that's really my goal. It's like, okay, these are the steps if you really want to get a articulate, thoughtful, a space over time result with a character that's animating and has, you know, crazy textures going on. All right, so watch, I'm just trying to smear it out. I'm trying to take the time flow. You see the time flow, just going with it. All right, I'm smearing toward that. And this makes it all thinner. And that's my ultimate goal, is just to make it less, it's also going loopy-loop. But now, it's ready for this. Having made I noticed that it obviously is a little too short to completely do its job. So this is a kind of like complicated extrusion where it's like, okay, I just try to rebox it. I'm only gaining about a 1/4 inch every time I do this in extension, right, in length. It's getting a little longer. It's sort of tedious. Questions? Another one, please. Taking notes? Who's coming down next Friday and Saturday to see Powerhouse, the gallery? The exhibit? No, I mean this coming Friday, tomorrow, and the next day. All right. If it's happening in your minds and not your hands, that's fine. But I would.
How long is it?
Again, it's only up till Saturday night at 10 o'clock. And it ain't coming back, and it really is like 10 times more than what you're seeing here. So I'm giving you that idea that you'll be surprised, and a lot of things that I couldn't show or bring you are actually sitting there in LA, so it's only 30 minutes away when the freeways don't suck. This Saturday. Tomorrow. Tomorrow also till 10 o'clock, or actually from from noon to 6, and then again at 8 to midnight, because there's a comedy show that plays in the gallery, so you can go into the comedy show and watch it tomorrow night. That could be fun. I will probably be there Saturday night for the closing, and the party, DJ, I don't know, it's going to be, I don't know, alcohol. Woo, woo. All right, so I've extruded it, and my goal is simply to make it conform. I've got this sort of architectural piece that's fundamental to the Cheshire, and I need to make it conform to this S shape. One thing I often show is that, see how I took a straight line and it made it a little strange at the end. You see this? If I were to cut that, I've got this little extra hanging thing. Sometimes I will, and I'll just go, all right, you go here. It's the same shape, and so I've, in a sense, squared it off, so it's using the most. Now, I'm ready for these shapes. See these things you made? You made these, and you made these, right? So now we're going to add cheeks. And cheeks are, he's a very happy cat. So I'm literally just throwing in a cheek line. And I will probably improve this in a moment. And I'm going to do that with a tissue paper black. This is again, very thinly rolled. It's done in the pasta grinder as an extruder. The tissue paper black. What I'm trying to get is the crease of the smile at the corner of his mouth. So I'm taking what is at the corner of his mouth and I'm flowing it up and over this first thing I just put. So there's a curl over that cheek. I'm sculpting the crease into the cheek that is the physical thing, and this is just a way of having a drawing. You know, this is the line that carries the figure drawing. It's coming up from the mouth. It's on the underside. And he's kind of, Joker-like, right? The Joker's grin. That's kind of what this is trying to do. Now, I'm going to flip this around. And you see why I had to have this underbody in order for it to work. I needed these shapes under here to make sure the curve was okay. I'm flipping it around. I'm going to add some of the crowdsourced curls to improve the cheekiness of the cat. I'm going to be liberal with it because the character is almost 80% done in the sense that I have the key features now. I think the eyebrows, I'm going to do an eye blink and the eyebrows. And then it's pretty much smooth sailing after that. And I'm going to add then this crease here up. And this is the crease of the mouth. Heath Ledger, Joker-like. And now, what are we ready for? We're ready for the eyes. Woo. So you can see how I've been building up to each piece. I had to lay it out first. I had to build the parts, and then I had to build it up because it all has to touch each other once it. Where did my other? Here we are. Okay, so, and now I have to go back and ask, okay, this is thick, this is thin. Great. This is thick, this is thin. Great. So I want people to follow the eyes as one gets smaller and the other gets bigger. And that is the goal of this, whatever, wackadoodle approach. I'm going to do it like that. Now, one thing I want you to pay careful attention now, because this is not supported. So I'm taking this, this texture clay of the cat fur, and I'm putting it under here. See that? That brings the eye up to eye level in a way, so it's kind of allows it to grow and shrink without it actually dropping and shrinking while it grows and shrinks. So I'm trying to keep it continuity along the line. And I'm going to put another one here, and it bridges the eye, so it's supported. And then I'm going to do it on the other side. So I'm adding more of that Krautswurst. This would, if it's used correctly, I would call it, the Mylar twisties. But you'll see an example. This isn't a good one because they're too on the axis of the shoot of the shot. So they won't have that Mylar effect, but they'll have a different effect, and we can all enjoy that one. All right. So I have the eyeballs of the smiling cat handled in, and what I want is him, her, it, she, them, they, to blink, and I'm going to put it, really, it's sort of halfway between each one. I kind of want it to blink on the way up and on the way down. So there's where the lid is going to go. And I'll try to do that again here. Sometimes 2 blinks is better in succession than 1 blink at each end. Sometimes it brings more life to the character. That's a peekaboo at his, you see the peekaboo on the way the yellow eye, in the center and the 2 sides of the yellow eye. But it's very choppy. It's not going to make sense till it's cut. I want to put 1 more eye blink. I'm going to do it in the fat part. The eyes are out of sync. It's fine. And now I want to put, what's the first thing I do when I finish an eye blink? I want to put the lashes in, right? And the lashes are, I could do green lashes, because I don't have a lot of green lashes going on, but that's probably stupid. I'll do, this is super, super obvious lash, but it's not built for his color scheme. But it's made, and therefore I will cut it up and use it as lashes. It's just going to roll along on top of these eyes. And by the time I'm done filling in the lashes and the eyelid, I'm going to have to get underneath and do the same 6 cuts from below. So the eyelash. Yeah.
We're done over here, so.
Wow, hey, 1 more. That's so great. Does it roll? Did you roll it?
Do we want to look at it?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see it. See how plosive that is? That would take you half an hour to make based off of the techniques that I just showed you. Now, where did the rotating 0 go? The rotating O. You got it out there? Somebody? No, not the atom. I sent around this block that was an O and it was rotating as blue. Do you have it? No.
Somebody.
Did they put it back up? You know what I handed out, so please find wherever that is. I'm making eyelashes, continuing. I would like to put that loaf up and cut it, because I think it's really helpful and effective. Did I get it back?
You're not talking about this.
No, the blue block that I cut it in two places, and I said, here's a rotating zero. Thank you, Annabelle. Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You look good. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, of
I
course.
hope it wasn't too out of the way.
It was a pretty drive. I've never been up here before.
Oh, okay, Brave Drive. I really appreciate because I trust you so much now because you do such a great job
Thank you.
laying it out, and you're storing them, however much.
They're very organized this time.
Do you
Great.
want,
Yeah,
you
that's
want
it.
to do this one?
Yeah, hold on. So everybody saw this, right? And I opened it up before, and I'm going to have her cut it. And yeah, I mean, you can see it's physically, like pieces and parts are open right there. This is it straight on, and this is it as a zero, an O. And so it'll have a three-dimensional outline. And I just want to show you a rotating number or letter. In this case, it can be either one. I'm gluing it back together. So it will have a little funkiness in these grooves, but watch what I'm doing. I'm just trying to put as much pressure back so the clay talks to the clay again. Even though I sliced it, you really won't see that. You can actually go into StrataCut surgically and whack at it and then join it back together. And most of the times, those knife cuts don't show because so much flowing motion is going on that they would never see the surgery. So keep it in mind. Okay. There. That's yay. I really like that, and this is going to be great. You're going to get a rotating. Yes.
This is on the bottom.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. All right. So back to the eyelashes. What you see here is just you can see it's a texture and it's moving quickly one way and it's very thin. So I'm just going to try. My goal here is to get the eyelash down into these cavities, these V-shaped things I made. All right. It goes down. Down. It's in. It's up. And I also like to put my eyelashes on the outside. Aesthetically, I think it's prettier, but that's a whole other thing. So I don't want to put them in the center. I could put them in the center. They're very childish and symmetrical in the center, and that's nice. I'm putting them on the outside. So I got, where did my nice tool go, my favorite tool? Where are you? The burnishing tool? It's right. Okay, so you can see I made a V. You can see I made a V. And you can see I made a V. And these will be the three eye blinks. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side because I've already got that. And I simply kind of have to conform the material, even though this is really like it grows and shrinks, it's fine. And after I finish this, I have to do it on the bottom side, and then I'm done. It's a V. I'm going to put this here and carry us away on that. Now, what do I put in the V? I like to put mascara. Let's just do that. I know,
You're down
maybe
to
it's
your
a,
last sheet.
cats are generally a female genre, but so I don't know. So I'm putting the super thin, and I'm putting it on the outside. So it's as if you did the mascara on the outside of your eyes. That's what I'm trying to do, not in the center as much. So it's weighted, and that's this attempt. So the eyelashes go down first, and then the sort of mascara line goes down second. And then I'm weighting it to the outside because I'm going to do a mirror image of it on this side. I have a few more, right? Yeah.
That's it. One more sheet.
One more sheet? That's brilliant. Thank you, everybody, again, for making a lot of this prep work just took place yesterday and this morning. All right. I'm going to use your crowdsourced clay one more time after the mascara part is done. And I need to fill in the eye blinks. And I really just want to make them wedges. It's like a watermelon wedge. You know the shape of a watermelon or any kind of melon, you take a wedge shape out or an orange peel. There. It's a wedge, like an orange wedge, right? Does it make sense? See it? Okay, it just goes down, and that is the eyelid, because he's a pinkish character, pink magenta character. I'm going to make another one. It's a little orange slice. It goes down, mirroring. I'm trying to get the blinks similar. They will be slightly off, so he will have that kind of lazy-lidded hookah. Hookah. What?
Do cats blink?
Oh, cats blink, yeah. They don't blink this way. That's what reptiles do. I think they do blink traditionally. You good?
They've got the inside eyelid.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
You know. I'm making Cartoon Cat, so I get to, it's eye blinking because Walt and Warner Brothers and all the rest anthropomorphized it. I'm still using more crowdsourced clay. I've made 3 wedges, and in them, first was the eyelashes, then the mascara, and now this sort of like, we'd call this character clay. It's just the fill-in clay of the character, and I'm good, and guess what? Now I have to figure out how to do it on the bottom. Having laid it in, I'm going to do bottom lids. So one way, since it's so heavily laid in, watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it directly with the lid for that moment. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the other way out. This is the cheek. That's the eye. I'm going to cut the lid into the eye. I don't want more. And I'm making, in a sense, another wedge. I'm carving a wedge going up here, right? I'm doing a strange, I'm taking the same little orange slice and I'm putting it down this side, right? So it goes under there and then it fits back like that. And so now the bottom of the blink is done. Now, if I really wanted to be sexy about it, I would have actually laid in, I'd lay in a little bit of black here. Like that, on the same side of the eye, right? Because that would be the bottom eyeliner. And so it would actually be surrounding the little wedge I put in there for the blink. I'm not going to do all of that because of time, but I'm just letting you know if you needed that. So back here, I'm going to add another little cut. And another little wedge. I think a lot of you are from animation, I would think, or experimental animation. Good to see you. I think in general, how many character animators, if any? I just wanted to, my comment, for whatever it's worth, is I think animators are some of the nicest people I know. You are, because you have a lot of humility. You're trying to express something very that requires a lot of time and patience and is not instant gratification by any stretch. So this is not instant gratification. So here's an interesting thing. I just cut out the bottom of the eye. So you can see that's going to be half of what the eye of the strange cat eye will look like, and then that half, it's going to be like that. So I'm just letting you know. I'm tossing it. Why? Because he's blinking. So it doesn't need to be there because this little shape takes its place. Blink, going back in. Okay, that's done. So I'm 3/4 of the way through. I know I don't have to do the bottom blink, but it's so much more effective. And this is the only surgical way I can figure out to do it when I can't. So this is another thing. You can see the eye circularity right there. So that'll be a hellaciously animating center thing. And I'm going to add more lid at the bottom. Another little orange peel, watermelon slice, cantaloupe wedge. Done. And almost there, 2 more. And in on the eye. And I'm trying not to get the cheek, by the way. The cheek is down there and I'm cutting it, but as long as I don't scrape it away or anything, none of those cuts matter. So that's 1 more, and I only have 1 more to go. And again, I'm trying to get the eye and only the eye. All right. Now, a lot of this is fill-in at this point. I think.
How about ears?
Yeah, we're going to get to ears. We got to do the fill-in first because everything that is not architecturally glued. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put a little more curvy back into this little, from the top view, you can see how I'm trying to curve it to fit the smile. So I'm going to the S shape again, right? And then now I've got all this great crowdsourced material, which is why I needed it, because the Cheshire Cat, any character is like 50% stuff without any features. And so I'm adding, using that stuff as like psychomorphic textures that have sort of a pinkish electricity to them, but they're not trying to be the main event. They're just trying to be the glue that puts the main event together, and I think the main event is done. I could add eyebrows rising up. That would be really good. And ears. Let's see if I can get that. And then we'll decide at time, do you want me to finish a little bit more of the cheeks before we do it? Because it's still going to read without that. And I want to respect that we're 40 minutes away from an exit. Is that right, roughly? Are we 40 minutes out? Oh. Somebody, 50? Okay, can you hang with me for 50 minutes? All right, great. I'm going to do all I can to make a complete cat and all the textures and rip this out in that short amount of time. Okay. I'm not doing a very thoughtful job because that's the reason for the content. It's a crazy cat, and these are decisions I'm making every so little micro decisions, like, okay, I guess he has 2 lobes between his eyes, like these 2 little lobes I just added. If I were, yeah, this is fun. If I were to, now I have the, I'm going to make raised eyebrows since we're here. We have just enough time. And the raised eyebrows are simply taking the bulging eye and making it crazy big. So I'm just accentuating the bulges that are there right now. Accentuated. Yeah. You know, the problem what I just did, I just flattened it. So the eye is no longer circular. I was rushing. I should have slowly created the negative shape properly. I'm going to fix this a little bit, try to make it a little more circular, and then I'm going to gently curve and arc it over as it should be, not jam it. So I have 3 more to do. This will create eyebrows that rise and lower. What texture should I use? I know I have some. Maybe it's under here. I do have these. I have this. I have this. I'm taking note. All right. Now, let's decide what the eyebrow texture is. We have this for teeth. I don't want that. We've created a lot of this crazy stuff, and I'm going to go with that. Right? All right, let's use the crazy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and make his eyebrows checkerboard and see how that animates. And then I'm going to, these are big fat, they rise with him. And then the ears will go right above it once I've got that in. Again, I'm trying to make it small enough to fit on that little rack and for Annabelle to cut it. She's been a champ so far on everything I've thrown at her. But we were going to cut that tonight, by the way. That was an option, the actual globe, which is hard to cut. But we'll see how things go. I don't know that I don't think that'll happen. I think it's enough that this is what we get done. If you can stick around after we break in about 45 minutes, and hopefully Annabelle will get at it, and within like a half an hour you'll start to see the results. If you come back, or I know you have plans tonight. Is there some like party down in the central mezzanine? Katie, party? Ah. Yeah, gallery thing, right? What is that?
I don't know if it started yet.
Right. I hope not. But I would assume 8-ish or something.
Well, I
But,
don't know if it started yet in the semester.
oh,
Hi, David. Nice to see you.
okay.
This is the dean, Abigail, the dean is here.
Abigail, hey.
I heard I had to come see what was going on.
I hope it
Obviously,
not.
it's true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's. Thank you for joining, and thank you for everybody who's stuck with it. I still have 80% of you. That's amazing after so much. Have I asked a lot of your thought? Have I asked you to think very hard? Yes. Do some people get tired when they think very hard? They're the people who left. All right. So these are eyebrows. He's got like a NASCAR crazy eyebrows. I am doing this, Abigail?
Yes.
Oh, I am doing this for the Disney school. It is my version of Cheshire Cat. It will not look nothing like the Alice in Wonderland version, but my intent was to do this because, yeah. All right, so that's the eyebrow going up.
Can I interrupt you a second?
Yeah, Colum has.
Rotating C.
What?
It's a rotating C.
That is a rotating C. Oh, it's a rotating C, even better. Well, look at that. I built that, 10 years ago. Oh, yeah. I didn't, I have, is it going? Abigail, take a look. And it's just time flow. I mean, it's just this. It's everything I've been trying to show you. And I propose, that we check out 5 or 6 of these that you can take home and look at, that you actually hand them, take them for the semester, try to duplicate or look at it or do whatever, and then check them back in with Stephen or whoever's the appropriate authority. And that would be educational. Did the little the pad with all the stuff on it ever get back?
Which pad?
I had a foam core thing like this that had the actual
mold?
rotating block, and I handed it out to the audience. I
You
didn't
mean
see it.
the mold?
Yeah, I had the mold on it, and I didn't see it returned. Okay, if people can find out. Okay, now we have a lot of these shapes. You notice these strange shapes we made? Like this. You remember these, right? These are the squiggles, right? Okay, now I want to use the squiggles to be the sort of, like to sublimate the crazy brain of the Cheshire Cat. And I'm just going to cut them and throw them down on an angle. It's not going to be complicated. I want them to plosive. So if I'm starting this way, I want it to be going up plosively, meaning it's like exciting. It's going outward from the center of his face. So I hope you can see what I'm programming in here. That they're starting at the center of like where his eyebrows pinch, and they're moving out.
It's over there.
Where is it? Where?
Right here.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay. It's really about his ears now. It's like all I have to do is kind of accentuate the eyebrows and all its motion with these little squigglies. Thank you everybody for making them. They're going to be sort of like a kind of, I don't know. I really like them more when I actually can layer them in. And if I have enough of them, I can do that. So you're watching, they're going at this angle up. Does that make sense? They're going at a diagonal up over these eyelids. And did we get all of the circles back? Somebody was cutting these up. We didn't finish cutting them
Oh,
up.
we never did.
Aw, does anybody want to cut these up?
It's,
Thank you.
okay.
And we need 2 or 3, right? Because we have 3 of these.
I've done this.
Yeah, so you see this as an example? That's all I'm asking. Okay, thank you.
About an inch or 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, I can use that. I want to do the crawling crabs in a way that people understand why they're such a simple and effective texture. So here I go. I'm still adding, I'm just cutting it apart. Why? Because I want it to flow over the shape. But I'm just programming texture energy over the mountains that I've made here. This is a very weird one. It's fascinating, the amount of strange results when I crowdsourced it. And that's personally why I wanted to do a crazy cat. I thought, all right, it's going to have a lot of non-conventional outcomes. Let me do it yeah. And now I want to keep growing my little thing. I'm going to use these shapes. I'm just pinch it now. So all I'm doing is it's going to go zigzag back and forth. So this is going to be really dramatic. What I'm doing now is throwing something in there that's going flash frame to the camera. Does this make sense? It's going back and forth, but it's flash frame here, flash frame there, flash frame here, flash frame there. Yes, there's a little bit of a curve stop, but that's what's animating now. And I'm making a wedge, so it's like a little thing that's flowing out of the center of his head now. But I'm going to make that the most frantic part of the animation because yeah, it's going to be good. going to be good. I'm just lining it up so it's flash frame, which was more interesting than not moving. Like, that's not moving. And this is going to be like that. It's going to be flash frame. I think, yeah. Wrong way. Here, this way. And now I'm ready for ears. And then all I need to do is add more pink to the outside, and then I can throw the textures in the front, and we're close to off to the races. It's so cool that the C is coming. This is for Cal Arts. And the privilege of living long enough to come back to the birthplace of Stratagut and have this many interested people. And I do want to call out, Anima Mundi had me in 2012, Antilimonis had me in 2014. And these are film festivals that kept my interest going as I would educate and show these things around in South America. And so I throw out appreciation to Brazil and to Chile. And they're very creative. Like, they'll take this and go, oh, yeah, sure. And it was actually kind of tough, in sort of in the mid-2000s, because computers had, people said, oh, that's done with the computer when they looked at Stratacut, right? So originally, when I first did this, people just go, I have no clue what's going on. This is amazing. But then CG and Jurassic Park came along, and then some people go, oh, that's computer animation. So what, right? It's true. And so and so it gave me, showing it to people again in these festivals really helped me want to put up those tutorials. If anybody's looked on YouTube, they know there's an extensive amount of, 40 tutorials that go from easy to harder to harder to harder. If you ever want to put the time in, they're shot in stereo, most of them, which is a difficult format for YouTube. Put on your red-green glasses. You can see some dimension because you look at this desk, and it's kind of crazy, right? Without dimension, it's really hard to understand what's going on here with a monocular lens. And we're to the point of ears. That's his head. You know how I made the ears, this sort of line dots for the ear shapes. And I'm quick. Pardon?
You need more of that.
Yeah, give me one more for that. Thank you. Yeah.
Pieces.
Thank you. That'll work. Pieces are good.
There's actually some on that board that he went out.
Okay. So these are, oh, cool. All right. So everybody knows how these are made. They're just rolling. You're just rolling them out with, okay. And I like to see the fast nods. And if you're not nodding, speak up. I will go slow here and there if I can explain it better. It's a lot to take in. So I'm making ears. I want them to be off to the side, like cute. I'm going to let them flow from one side to the other. And because some of these are thicker, I'm just going to, I cut myself last demo. No, it's kind of, as long as it's a superficial.
I still didn't bring a Band-Aid.
Yeah, I do it about 1 out of every 10 sessions. And so all I'm doing is I'm stealing from Peter to pay Paul over here. I'm trying to take fat texture that I don't need on a character design basis, like with the ears and the shape of the ears. And I'm trying to throw them down here where I do need that fatness. And so the fastest way to do that is So those are the ears. Again, I'm going to let them go ragged because I still want to make an ending there that hasn't come to fruition. Do we have red? Slices of red back here.
Slices of that?
Slices of red. I thought I left some.
I think so.
Okay. Then, no, it's fine. I got other answers. Make some. Thank you, Kalam. Everybody say thank you, Kalam, by the way. I would only be able to do half of this without her. So I can use a line. I'm just cutting the.
Long, like
Yeah. This is just more lines, slabs. Nothing fancy.
thick ones?
No,
I mean,
just
wide ones?
whichever size you want. I just want to highlight the ears, and by that I'm just trying to put a more solid color on one side, right? Because there's a lot of chaos going on here. So sometimes you want your shape to have graphic outlines, and every woodcut and Japanese wood print understands how to make graphic lines, and that's what all this is trying to be, is that in StrataCut. So that is that. This will be this. And, some plastic, thank you. Good, all right, so Colin made a few. From above, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, good, you're making those, great. You're putting it back together. Excellent, thank you. It's good to see that. I love the crowdsourcing thing. Do you like getting your hands on it a little bit so you can understand it? Yeah? Yes. Good. It really makes it different, so you're not just passively, completely watching the show go. Thank you. All right, the ears are okay. I know that it's hard to see, and I'm getting really big on a block, and I'm not going to show the cut very well, so I'm not going to even do it. You're going to have to trust, and I'm going to have to trust that it's in there. I'm at the point where I want to finish out the sides. So these where the eyeballs are still exposed to the exterior. And so all I'm trying to do is add a tiny bit of what I would call the character color, which is this sort of magenta, pink, white, red twisties. See what I'm doing is just adding sort of this on the outside here. Does that make sense? And that's just to make sure the character's flesh body is coherent and he just isn't flying. I could make him fly off, by the way. You could keep it simpler and it would have a different effect, more of a punk effect. This is trying to be a punk character effect, maybe. I'm almost out of texture. Thank you for providing so much. And that will determine, the amount of material I have often determines the character decisions I have to make. So it's not like you're planning everything exactly right. And therefore, I do impressionism, expressionism, and psychomorphic pop-like images. And the reason for that, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What's it from? Is that your twist?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very, very delicate. Very nice. It's the kind of thing that won't show up badly in StrataCut with problems and other things. So I'm just choosing an entire range of artistic approaches because that's what the medium suggests. It also suggests clouds. It suggests explosions. It suggests fluids. It suggests the clouds over there. It suggests hair. It suggests everything. Those are the things that are subject matter that make the most sense. And in this case, it suggests craziness.
I think we're done with the seat.
Oh, Sue, let's see it. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I love that it's reflected at the beginning and it just sort of flows down into, oh my God. I don't know how the bottom, it feels like the bottom is moving, the whole rig is moving forward.
Yeah, I was pulling the
Oh, it's coming off the front. That's just the front of it.
yeah.
Okay, it's as designed. Okay, I'm seeing an illusion there that's blowing my mind. All right, I'm covering the sides of the eyes to give it some, and as I cover it, I want you to know I'm still going, back into the architecture of the smile. I'm not quite completely finished with that little Joker thing I mentioned on the crease of the lips. I think I've got the eye done, so what I want to do is finish that little Joker thing, and then do the bottom, and then finish the front and back. And I think I have got 20 more minutes. That's my goal. And then, is that appropriate? If I get it in 20 minutes, you'll stick with it and watch. Okay. No, I know, but I apologize. It's if I can keep going, it's better, because if I come back after in the middle, it's really just hard to pick it up again. So it's a sport. This is like athletics. This isn't, this is performance too. You know, it's a very strange thing to evolve into a performance piece like this, where I'm somehow not just explaining technically, but I'm also trying to package the events in a way that you can not be bored, because I can do very long videos, and this is a more general purpose. Hey, let's understand all of the primitives, let's understand the textures, but also let's also have fun and understand some character design when we use those textures. So I'm just taking the Heath Ledger Joker crease at the bottom and giving it a little more flesh, because this is the cheeky part. You know, the Cheshire Cat has huge cheeks, right? That's the cheeky part. And I'm almost ready to do this. You ready? Finally. It's a thing. Yeah, it holds together. Woo! That rotating C is so fucking cool. I want to mention something that's been on my mind, and I don't know. Just because I think of it doesn't mean I'm going to do it or it's going to happen. But all right. So these are the ears. These are the eyelashes. The sort of I use this stuff for the eyelashes. No, not this stuff.
No,
Oh, what did I do this for? This is cool.
use the brown one.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, I use this for the eyelashes. This sort of dynamic
Eyebrows.
eyebrows. Yeah, eyebrows. Thank you. And then this is the snout, and this is the smile. And I haven't shown you the smile because it's just a little too deep. I'm not going to. I could finish out some of these. So I start to work up down now, right? Because I've built enough that it's like a deep enough. My plan, if I have time, is to finish it up to here in 20 minutes. Yeah, why?
What are you going to add to it?
All the textures. All these textures you're building are going to be, I wanted to build these textures so you can see how they perform, but what they're going to be is the prequel that lead you into the Cheshire Cat. So what I'm going to do is mostly animate fun textures flowing out of this, flowing into it, so it's got a kind of, hey everybody, look at here, wow, it's a cat, right? It doesn't just start off and be cat. All right, I'm simply just finishing up some things, trying to get, like when I see things like this, I know that the flesh around the smiling mouth is not complete. And yet, that's acceptable. This is like the last bit of crowdsource magenta. So in a sense, yeah, I have them there. Yeah, I want to finish that out because I think that really helps the cat feel like a face that's got a kind of full body to it. Whether or not that works, it's just going to be fun to look at, not necessarily on character design. So I'm just adding textures at the bottom. And you want to know the last problem I have is this, I added these bold pinks. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off. This is the cradle that the whole thing got built on. I'm going to take them off. It's going to let me sculpt the bottom now. In a way, I haven't really been able to change the way the shape of the bottom is. And ultimately, at the bottom, look, I have this smiling texture. It's supposed to flow left. It's supposed to flow right. I didn't do a very good job. It's okay. It's going to be very bizarre to look at. But what I really want to get is a sense of the bottom lip not being chunky. So really all I'm trying to do is smooth this out so there's some kind of like, even though it's going to be rough, at least when he smiles, or she, or it smiles, the cat smiles, it's going to have the cute sort of upper, it's going to have a shape that's consistent, right? The emoji shape. I'm just getting a simple emoji shape, so it's very super clear. And then I'm going to add these back in because I still need negative space to hold this puppy. All I wanted to do was make that coherent, so I'm not looking at a bunch of chop. I never touched it during the creation, and it felt like it needed some love, so there it was. This pink is, the magenta is going back in because it's good. This is really soft clay, as opposed to a lot of others. Like this and the purple and other things are really soft, and so they're brilliant. There's soft whites and some other things, but they're brilliant at being the sort of last outer solid, if you will. Does that make sense? You can see that I'm having no hard time making it actually flow. And so, again, this is going to go down on the thing like that as a solid. I'm trying to, I'm just going to throw some information down here to make it straight. It won't necessarily be the final. Okay. One last thing is I'm going to use all the tissue paper I have to give some outline. So I think the ears need outline. I think if I have more outline, I might find something else.
We have black with lines that are new.
Oh, I have the black over there too. Yeah, where is that?
Black with lines.
Over here? How many do you have?
Well, it's a little thicker. than
That's okay.
this one.
It's a good touch.
I can make it for you.
No, let me finish with these tissue papers. I could articulate the pointiness of the ears. So he's more like a Johnny Depp cat, which he's going to be anyway. He's much more of a Halloween crazy cat. So all I'm going to do, watch what I'm doing. I'm just pushing the ear out and pinching the top because I want it to be more clearly ear-like and not less blob-like. And I'm thinking the ears go like that. Ooh, wow. Yeah, there's a kitty in there when I look at this. Now you have some orange. This is really beautiful stuff. Go for it. This is going to allow me to block out everything here, but it's adding an extra color, which kind of gives it a gravity glue. It's just nice. I mean, I haven't used any orange, right? And so it's a single. Is that it? Thank you. It's a single. It's like a little touch that's. It's nice to pull back on one color and then throw it in just as a last thing because it, I don't know, maybe it's more childish, but it keeps the spontaneity of the, I think it can work with the color palette that I've chosen, even though it's a very weird choice. Here. Thank you.
Is that magenta piece there meant to be like that?
Which one? This? Yeah. I mean, I could smooth it out, yeah. So this will be rough and rugged. You got the rotating C. You can work very deep that way. I can explain how to do that C someday, but it's not going to be as exciting. It's going to be a lot different of a tutorial because it's just boring and tedious and tight. It's like jewelry, right? You know, when you sculpt jewelry. This is a scale that you can see some action at. All right, this is the end of the block. On the end of the block, I want it to go away into something. You can't be cutting on that thing and not have some kind of slope coming off the end, right? There needs to be a slope because gravity, if you get here, it just falls right over. You get to the last slice and it just becomes bendy and gone. So finding a way to add deceleration. It's like spatial deceleration and helping the block find its last bit of gravity. I'm going to use the eyebrows here as
The end or the beginning?
this is going to be the end. This is the end, beautiful friend, the end, or the beginning. Because the eyebrows in here are like this, I'm throwing in a lot of detritus or leftovers because, well, it doesn't matter much. I'm going to use this. I found some pieces that I still want to finish out the body, maybe. I like to have those. But I really want it to decelerate off the back. I have these. I had plans for these, but I never used them that way. I don't think I have time. I'll get to them if I have time. I just want to finish the back end of the loaf and start putting. Oh, remember these were the ears. So this is good. I found some extra texture. This is how you use the extra texture that you found. You say, oh, the ear is great. I'm gonna add them in and fade them out. I'm just taking them so they become part of the decline of the block toward a bit of a conclusion. And I'm still just looking for the junk that doesn't matter. It's not obnoxious though. This is a bit obnoxious. This one, coffee cup? Well, that's pretty beautiful. Okay, so everybody knows how this is done, right? It's a herringbone pattern, and it's simply all those sandwiches that we use. So Colum is correct that if I put this in, you will have a flourishing ending looking at a texture. Why not? So I have to box it. Then I have to, pretty much take the, I only box it because again, I boxed it, correct? You can see how quick and easy it is as long as you use one side to be the other. And then I can put it down here and call it the sort of base. And people can go, okay, that's groovy to look at. And then I'm going to actually make it more slanted. So I'm taking this and I'm just carving it back up there. Do you see that? And then I can just do the time flow down into this thing. This becomes my ending backstop. This is the eyebrows texture finally. And this is the top of the cat. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so not pretty, but the point is clay can't sit floating in air, and once you're done with your block, you need to figure out an exit. I'm going to figure an entrance now, and I'm going to do it in 10 minutes, 15 at the most. And the entrance is everything that I haven't put in here yet. So we have these guys. Thank you very much. You have more? Oh, can you put them back together like this? You need the blue. Just chop the blue and then, yeah. And where's the master of it? Oh, here it is, yeah. So there's the larger pieces. So part of me wants to do something like this, because I want to see the crawling crabs big. Part of me wants to do this, because I want to see the crawling crabs at a different scale and how they are affected by that scale. I'm going to try to give you up front a bunch of textures that we have talked about that you're going to be able then to see as preliminaries that flow into the Cheshire Cat. I am also going to put the cat back on its back. So I have to build another buck, a buck or a negative clay thing that holds up the back. I first learned the word buck from Paul Herod, who was an excellent sculpting student who I went to school with. There were only 3 sculptors in the whole school when I went to school here. Paul Herod, Paul Richmond, and myself. And I worked in F105, which is the computer lab, and there was a pipe, excuse me, here. So it's back on its back again. This is going to be kind of crazed. So I want these things to flow into it. The first thing I'm going to do is the Mylar, because I want you to understand why the Mylar twisties are what they are. Where are they? Oh yeah, good. Thank you very much for making these. So the Mylar twisties are kind of like crabs, but they're very fluid, and they have that kind of interesting, and I want to put them on a 45-degree angle. That's the whole point of it. I'm going to use, here we go. I like that we're getting there. I have to tell you, this is the moment of relief for me, because the hard part's done. The outcome is in. The energy, just like that block I haven't cut up in 15 years, it's still, or 12 years. Yeah, that one, it's still sitting there. It's potential energy, and only when the knife hits it is it kinetic and comes to life. So these are the twisty Mylar things. Watch what I'm trying to build is a diagonal. I'm just laying them in as their own little discrete, what would you call these? Little, Tootsie Roll pinches or whatever. And they're on an angle. Yeah, but see, they're not long, right? And the reason they're not long is I really want them to sort of evolve and unevolve like little creatures across the screen. I don't want them to be a single long thing. And this is going to be a little bit weird, not only because I'm so tall on a block that's unfinished, and here I am supporting it in a wanky style right there. So I'm going to keep doing this on this little 45, barely visible to the, all right, here. There you go, video folks, there. Coming. And, yeah, I'm going to build it all the way. And why? Because I'm going to cut this in half and use it across more than just this little section I'm building. But I wanted to get it on the 45. So that's all I'm trying to get is make sure I have the little Mylar twisties on this angle, make sure they're short, stack it up, keep growing. It's just easier to work downward, even if it's fast. Another quick solution, by the way, for something like this is, go ahead and throw me that block. Thank you. Yeah, throw me that block. Is just use another block and put it at the back, and therefore you have some support so it's not likely to fall over. So as you're building this crazy skyscraper of slowly moving molten liquid, my goal now, okay, I've got a lot of these in, is to square the box. Okay, here I go. I've got the angle. I want it to look like that. And so now this is what the result is going to be of this 45. Thank you very much for doing that. And there. And it will be a sort. I'm going to use it as a lead-in in one sense. So put a pin in that. Do we have the? Yes, we do. We have these boxes. We did these boxes. Remember them? Okay. I'm going to cut this one in half. And I'm going to run a shape through it that's at a radical angle like this. It's going to have a lot of fast animation. And then I want to compress the two sides together with that, because now as I pinch it, the attempt here is to have the box still be coherent. I've just bisected it, but why can't I make it longer? I can distort it. I can, right? I can actually, after it's actually really a box and really animated, you can do a lot of things with it. And this will be sort of a more tall box with a line running through it quickly. So I've got some animation there. And now I'm going to go back down. I just wanted to point that out, is that you can just keep building taller and taller as long as you have heavy structures to hold it up. And I'm going to put it down here, which is approximately that block. I see Annabelle is waiting. It's going to go fast now. I've taken off the little shim that I had in order to have it rise up. And I'm just going to lay stuff down that I've been making, all this extra material we've been making. Oh, look at that. Well, we're going to see the difference between a fat cut and a thin cut, because what you did was cut to the original diagram there, but on these shorter ones, thinner ones, it's possible that that's going to be, it could be great. It could have more chatter is what I described. It's faster animation on screen, less time. This is going to be slower enough that you catch it because it's fatter and bigger. Well, let's just throw it in. Excuse me. Let's decide what angle we want this at. What else did we build? I have these guys, I have these guys, I have this, and I have, where did my eyeball, I'm sorry, my box. Where's my rotating box? Here you are. Okay, I'm going to glue my rotating box this way, which allows me, all these lines, I don't have to actually use them full length. Once I chop them to fit my, I'm reboxing them now, like this. And I'm gaining more material back into the center of the image where it belongs, not over on the fringes and edges of the image where it's less important. I'm going to also box it this way. So watch this. I'm going to, because this is fairly flat, not really, but fairly, I'm going to go ahead and just split the baby like this, and watch, I'm going to fork that over that way. Does that make sense? And so it flows into the, I'm dovetailing and structurally flowing into the Cheshire Cat. All right. People feeling this? You get where, okay. And the flow of it is I really just wanted these sort of crazy shapes to yield this. And what I think does that really well is like cones. Cones do it really well. I'm going to go ahead and use this. So, this is a rotating ball. I might as well throw it into the machine. Grind, open it up. Do you want to open it up? Thank you. The reason I'm going to do that is I want to grow it into these eyes. I'm going to actually have that thing lead into the eyeball thing while this is going on. I have this great Mylar effect. Thank you. Now, you understand this roughly. I didn't give a lot of explanation, but my point is when you cut it through the middle.
You're off camera.
Oh, when I cut it through the middle, thank you. You can see it's fat in the middle and it's curved on the sides. Does it make sense? So all of this is flowing through it, and it's all going blah, fatter in the middle, slow, on the sides.
Like a rotating beach ball.
Like a rotating beach ball. You could, if you wanted to make a basketball out of it, you could cut some lines this way and add some more material and make a design like that. I'm going to simplify it because I want it to go in both eyes. So there's two rotating beach balls. I'm going to create a, what do you call it, an impact shape, a wedge, a dive-in. I'm going to hammer into this puppy, and I'm going to use my favorite tool. I'm going to find the eyes. Where are you, eyes? Is it the mouth or the eyes? This is a conundrum. Yeah, that's the eyes. They're lower than I thought. There's a lot of stuff on the head, and the other eye is really small. So watch, I'm just making a giant little like cone or a negative shape, and then I'm pressing this positive shape to in there. And so you've got one sort of animation being encapsulated by another animation. I'm going to do it over here too. Now this is a harder eye because it's a small one. It's the one that's really hard to tell. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I think we're getting there. I have these extra textures so I could finish out some detail here. That goes in. I'm going to go ahead and pinch it down. Why? Because I want it to flow in and out of these rotating circles. I want to pinch this down because it's the square. All I'm doing is making sort of slight morphic shapes. So this is like the bow of a ship, and I'm just squeezing it out like a bow of a ship. Why? Because it flows into that better because the two sides kind of kiss each side of the bow of that ship. And I'm just doing textures. You can see how fast they are. You see how fun they are. You see how they flow together. There. And so the eyeball is in. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'll cut this off. It could be crazy to do that. Anyway, you see how beautiful that is? When that's animating, damn, it's just gorgeous. I'm really glad. I'm glad I got to put it in. So I'm just going to be adding some more textural crazy like that. I'm going to add these in because they're. Remember, these were contrapunktally rotating. Remember that? So I twisted it one way and twisted the other. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. And we're getting close. And I take that and I see the line. I'm going to twist it over and make it come on the other side. One thing about this that I just did is you see that it is sort of a background. This is disappearing behind the rotating square, and it is reappearing on the other side of the rotating square, correct? So by doing this, I've interrupted what looks like a background to have the foreground dominate as it passes behind it and then passes on the other side. And then finally this. I am going to do crazy with this because I'm kind of at the end. Oh yeah, 5 minutes. What do you think? How do you feel? Cool. I think that C is like, I'm so glad we cut that stuff up. Who wants to stick around? In an hour, this will be done. Who wants us to actually cut that thing up tonight? The party people say, no, we're going to go party.
Party here.
I know. Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to assume, well, we all may be very tired after this one is done. All right, so you see, I'm just doing organic conformity and letting it roll. I'm trying to make it very sculptural and very fun looking. I'm not trying to make it, and then I'm just giving, the last thing I would want to do is the plosive. Where did my little plosive thing? Yeah, this thing, right? What I really should do is add layer after layer of plosive on this. Do you have more stripes? Like more thin, like the orange blacks of any kind?
Oh, thin stripes?
Yeah, thin stripes.
I thought, well, there was the.
All right, this is going to be,
stuff here that's-
okay, I'm bringing this ear down because
You
it
have
flows.
These?
Oh, that's fine. I can't see it, that's fine. Okay, so
Here.
I want to add this.
Brown.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to add this. Why? It's because I really want you to see what the diamond shapes were. This number 6 diamonds, right? So I'm throwing this in so you can, when you see this back, you'll see all the things that went into it. And no, plosive is I really want more tissue paper, and I probably have enough. Yeah, thank you. All right, this is, I think, probably the second to last thing, even though it feels like the last thing, because I don't know what I'm doing next, if anything. But I want to make this plosive. So I simply find a best way to make that shape. And now all I'm trying to do is make a sort of rounded thing like this. See that? So it really goes kaboom. I'm going to even make it I'm going to undercut this, finish out the clay, finish out this. This looks like it's off the edge, so I'm going to trim it because I don't want it competing on the track, the width of the track. As I trim it, what the hell? Add more. Now, I'll quickly make the plosive that I made over there that went so quickly. You see that? That's plosive. Doesn't have to be any more than that. But then you just keep, oh, I didn't add, I need these guys in. All right, so I'm going to add the Mylar all around it now. You see the places where the Mylar will go. It has to be on that sort of 45 angle, and it has to be discrete little guys. Yeah, let's get on to questions, because we're close. Go for it.
I've only done dry like a few times, and I've always.
That's more than most. Good work.
And like, I feel like it's a good thing that you're creating like the overall shape of like the little based on like the shape of the character, right?
Yeah,
But and it's not like conforming to like an aspect ratio that you're gonna shoot at.
correct.
Is
Necessary.
that normally like how you work?
Ask what's the most interesting way to present it. And the 2D, 3D nature is necessary. To me, if you don't see the side of the block, and you don't see the cavities, and you don't see the caves, and you don't see the deformations on the outside, then all of the imagery going on the inside is still interesting, but it seems synthetic. It seems like something a computer could do. You don't have that same kind of mind F where you're saying, wait a second, it's 2D, it's 3D, it's 2D, it's 3D. And
Perspective.
yeah, that's why you see me shoot it this way right there. It's just, well, I have 2 cameras going. Did we slate this? We should slate this. Did anybody slate this? No. So I think if Steven's still here,
Yeah.
okay, can you put those 2 slates into this camera thing?
Sure.
All right.
Hey, you wanna shoot this?
Yeah, and shoot a couple of frames of each. Just prop them up. I don't know if they need to be laying down. You can put them. Yeah, you can put a water bottle and try to hold them. Oh, you just hold them with your hand at 45.
I could do that.
The key is don't move, because they both have to do. Okay, lay it down. 40. Lay it back. Lay it. Keep going. Back. 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 Keep going. Keep going. More. Keep going. Just keep going. More. 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 Keep going. Okay, about right there. Oh, well done. All right, shoot it like that. That's easy. I did not intend that gag. But it was beautiful nonetheless. Okay, so shoot 2 frames. I'll tell you why he's doing this in a moment. And both cameras need 2 frames. Can't just be 1. I'm adding more plosive as they do this. We are shooting 2 cameras all the time. Okay, now take the other The other, yeah, that other calibration. That one, I think you can tilt up more. Bring it forward. Bring it forward. Bring it forward. Slide it forward. Keep sliding it forward on the glass. Yeah, back now. Sorry. It glitched. Yeah. The shutter is on a glitch, so back a little bit. Back a little bit. Okay, now you're going to stay frozen while 2 frames get shot. And hopefully they don't F. Thank you, Stephen. All right, does anybody know why those are shaped and colored the way they are? Does anybody know why they're shaped and colored the way they are? It is a bit of a color test, but it's much more future thinking, and it's not really about the color. The color's used. Yes, you do want a color calibrator, but mostly it's to differentiate the shapes. Why do I want to shoot shapes?
Because you're shooting with 2 cameras.
Yes.
And it becomes 3D.
Yes, this is a calibration method. So the boxes are 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters, and is it a centimeter? I don't know. They're measurements in millimeters. And so if both cameras can see this array of shapes as a sculptural thing, then those 2 cameras can be fed into an AI machine, which can then understand the spatial relationship, not as stereo, but as what I would call a grid camera. A grid camera would be any amount of lenses that form like 4 or 6 that have a distance longer than interocular, more than stereo, but enough that the calibration can glue them together. So in theory, what we want to be doing, whether that's this year, 2 years, or 10 years from now, we want to be looking at everything like this. Stop motion should be seen in pigeon vision, right? Then it's staggering, it's startling, it's amazing. Every time there's an increase in fidelity, be it HD, 4K, or going back to standard def, there is a flourishing of stop motion because its textural acuity is so clear, the clearer you have a medium to replay it. And I believe that's coming. So I'm shooting this, I'm trying to shoot from now on with this kind of calibration with at least 2 cameras. Everything is better with more, up to maybe 12. It's very similar to light field. If you ever want to look up the word light field, this is a similar idea. But because AI is changing the world and can interpolate now so well, this to me is the way to, something like this needs to be done in the future, and we'll be able to see it on our phones, and we move our phones around, and our animations are moving with it, like from every angle. And in StrataCut, I just want to let you know, I hope someday soon that a Boolean animation where I use my phone and I walk through the StrataCut can happen. And so it will be, I'll be able to reconstruct this with the AI and use a cutter from the phone itself to say, hey, I want to look at it from this side. I want to look at it from this side. I want to look from this side. And eventually animate the synthetic cutting shapes. So it's a circle or a corrugation or some kind of crazy non-thing that isn't this, right? That is the next. That's coming. That's not far away. I don't say that as, I am an optimist, I know, but I don't think that that's actually too far. When you see the leaps and bounds of neural radiance fields, the leaps and bounds, everybody knows DALL-E and Midjourney, the leaps and bounds, all of these, every year it's a new crop of names of these techniques of, what do they call it? ReLU and back propagation. That's a big one, right? Everybody knows back propagation because that's the way in which an AI readjusts itself to learn better and better weights so it can perform better. All right, I'm getting there. And how much plosive do we want to put on the front? I'm going to use this. Why not? Plosive, right? So it's going to explode when we get to it. Yeah. Yeah. Plosive. And then some more blacks and whites, and I'm good. I think that it's time for questions. I've achieved almost the 3-hour thing. I've achieved textures. I've achieved all of this. you understand what this was. It was the eye growing and shrinking in my mind, and I was trying to say that it's going to be contrapuntal. This is the nose. This is the ears. I didn't put the hair on the ears. That would be something I could add, but I'm not going to. The hair on the whiskers exist. I could do a better job on the hair. It's a little fat, and it's going to be a little crude, but it's, you know, once it's in motion, most of that'll be completely understandable. This is cool, but I want to not put it at I want to put it at an angle it's cooler at, like that. Now you see these kinds of ribs. When you ask, like, how do I like to cut it? I like to show all of the architecture. It's just so damn much more sexy than seeing it front on. And it asks, do you have more darks? Yes. It asks questions as to, am I watching a two-dimensional image in a three-dimensional time block? And where is the... What I want to express, and I've said this on other videos, is that this technique, when it teaches me back what it's telling me, it teaches me time blindness, the fact that all the animation can coexist. It's all potential. Nothing's cut. It will not be kinetic until the moment Annabelle takes the knife to it. So this could last for 1,000 years in this form and still be animation that nobody ever saw until it's revealed. I think that that's a brilliant metaphor for life. We all live in this moment as a time thing, and in our lives, we're all flowing like this from one position to another. We are looping around CalArts. If we were to see ourselves as long pieces of spaghetti, we are all like buzzing around and connecting to each other. And I'm painting a picture like a four-dimensional picture that I even can't see. I mean, I can visualize it. I do see it, but I don't literally. I use this to help me with my time blindness. I hope you use it to help you with your time blindness, to understand that there actually is time flow in your life, even if it's not in your eyes and your mind. This is trying to give you that description. One last comment. I'm adding more plosive. How you feeling, Annabelle? God, I'm feeling good because it's almost over. It's such a stem winder, right? This is somebody in politics bloviating on. I'm on the Senate, and it's a filibuster. I'm just going to keep talking.
I have one.
Yeah, please.
So, like, I know that it can be really easy when working with direction that, like, there's gaps inside, like, you're
Yeah.
not pressing
I like that.
crevices. That's like intentional.
Oh, yeah, it's intentional. Yeah, I could tough everything up. Annabelle, you feel like it? Anybody want to take it? All right.
That's a big one, David.
It's a big one. It's not bad. Yeah, let's cut it. I mean, no, she can cut this. She's got this. This is not too big.
So I'm doing the, like, I'm putting this on the...
Yeah, put it back on,
Okay.
and that's the beginning. And you just rip right
Taking
through.
it off the,
Yeah, take it off the white. You may need two other people. If you want to, anybody want to step in and help them take that off and place it down, because it's a very delicate, like heavy thing. Jump up and step in. Thank you. How we doing in Instagram land? Live feed people, thank you for sticking with it. That was 3 hours, 180 minutes, and I am really enjoying the idea of questions. And I assume we're going to break soon because everybody needs a bathroom break and probably has other things to go to.
This is, can we see the cutting?
The cutting.
The cutting, we want to see the audience.
Oh, yeah. No, that's right. It's fine. Thank you for, so somebody was, okay, hold on. Let's do that. Yeah. Somebody was smart enough to point out, and thankfully they were watching, that the cutting is a big deal. And I also, Jonah, if you're there, this is a good time to take the iPad and move it over there so you can actually get a better view of the cutting yourself, if this is the moment. So I am elevating, I am walking, keep going.